shadows where the whispers dwell, always trying to unring the bell. The red road calls a path less known, with haunted streets where the eerie winds moan. Creatures lurking just beyond the light, not just tales spun to frighten the night. The masquerade of ghosts, they walk along in this gritty realm. We're all too young. Take the red road, let the spirits unfold. Follow RezNeck Calkins, let the mysteries be told. Through the dark we'll weave into the unknown. With each step we take closer to home.
Welcome back to another week of Red Road Paranormal. It's your favorite RezNeck. Thank you all for tuning in. Before I bring our guest up here, a few things I want to talk about. First things first is July 27th. I will be at the Old Baraboo Inn with Scotty Rourke and the Mad City Ghostbusters team. There are tickets still available. If you want to go ahead and get a hold of this, come out and see us, hang out. There will be an investigation, the whole works. Be a great time and a fairly priced evening. Next thing we need to talk about is August 1st and 2nd. You'll be able to find me at the New Orleans Paracon. Come on down. I'll be speaking about Native American paranormal, supernatural, all the works and goings with that, and legends and lores of our culture, along with a bunch of other Native Americans from different tribes from all over the country. So again, that's August 1st, 2nd down in New Orleans. There's still packages available. The packages include 2 tickets to the Paracon, hotel room for 2, and tickets for the ghost hunt. So now, back to our guest. This is a gentleman that's become a very good friend of mine. I'm proud to say he's a member of my para family, and he's also a family member of the All Access family. So let's bring him up. Nathaniel Elwell.
What's going on, brother?
What's up, big guy? I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, right? It's only been like 2 days.
Right. You know, I was having my Nate withdrawals.
That's fair. Most people do. No, I'm glad that I got the Wi-Fi working. Hopefully, like there's been Wi-Fi gremlins going on throughout this week. I don't know what's going on, but anytime I try to connect to the Wi-Fi, it's like, yeah, you.
Yeah, got to smudge the house. Get rid of them gremlins.
Yeah, I'll get around to it, Morgan.
Hey, Morgan.
So, first thing, Rez, I appreciate you having me on the show tonight. I know it's going to be a fantastic conversation.
Always.
I feel like me and you, have connected in a way when it comes to people in the paranormal that most people haven't.
Yep.
When you meet people and you're kind of like antisocial like I am, and you connect with someone, then you know that connection is legit, it's real. And you know that those people are going to be your people, they're going to have your back, and they're going to be there, regardless.
For life.
I will tell you, I love this because, I entered that beard competition at Broadhead. I'm sure we're going to touch on Broadhead at some point.
Yep.
They gave me a beard comb that looks like a pocket knife.
Nice. I'm jealous. I should have entered the goatee competition. I really should have.
Dude, you should have.
But I see you still have the beard. I thought first thing you got home, you were going to shave it.
Well, I think I'm going to take it down a notch. I am going to make it a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
But since they made me an official prospect of the Bearded Brotherhood, I kind of stuff it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Like I said, they got some pretty sweet cuts.
Yeah.
Their vests that they wear, I like them. I love their logo. Some pretty.
I did threaten for multiple months, and I'm not saying I still won't do this. Okay, I very well might. I was threatening. No, I'm not selling it. But I was threatening Morgan and Gwen for months that I'm going to do mutton chops with a handlebar for a podcast.
That would be funny.
Louis, you won that category, brother. We all know. Don't rub it in my face, but you do have an amazing beard, man. I can't lie.
He was one of the winners. Obviously, he's got an amazing beard. So
so it's as me growing it out for the event, because I told Louis on the Hour of the Wolf podcast that I would not shave my beard until the event. and now it's kind of grown on me. The only thing that literally grown on me, but the only thing that bothers me is when it curls around my lip. I
Yep.
try to eat and the hair gets in there, or if I use the beard oil, sometimes I put it too heavy on my mustache, and all I can taste for the next 12 hours. I gotta give Bearded Death this. You can replicate the scent of leather. How in the fuck did you replicate the taste? Because all I can taste for like the next 12 hours is leather.
Leather doesn't taste that bad. Come on now.
Look, I ain't into BDSM, brother. I don't know what leather really tastes like.
You sure you're not? I got a little toy right here, I could send out there. Brother made it.
Look, just because I messed up my Google search algorithm once for a breakdown where I had to look up GIMP suits and that's all that popped up for like the next 2 months.
Hey man, different strokes for different folks. That's all I can say. And it's Big Sexy in the house. What's up, brother Bill?
We love you, Sir Ninja.
Yes. So, well, let's back this up a little bit for any of my followers that are not familiar with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your history.
Yeah, so I've been investigating the paranormal for just damn near close to 20 years. It'll be 20 years in July.
Did you start when you're like 10 or what?
No, I'm older than I look. I've been investigating the paranormal for just about 20 years. And I have a knack for debunking. That's my thing. That is my forte. On top of that, I've written a book right here called Downloading for the Dead, Investigating Paranormal Applications, where I went and I downloaded applications for typically Apple on this because I did not have a Android device at that time. I do now have a laptop that is capable of Android devices. So I'm going to be mixing a little bit of those in for season 2. Okay. But I downloaded these apps from the App Store. I tested them out on my YouTube. And what I did was I contacted the application developers and I asked them, how exactly does your application work? Because I wanted to fully understand it, even though I made my live review. When I went to write the book, I wanted to ensure that I had the information correct and it was accurate.
Right.
And, it was an overwhelming response. I mean, I don't know if I can call out apps or not on this, but there was one app that told me they didn't want anything to do with my book.
Let it fly. I don't care.
GhostTube had no interest.
Okay.
I'm sure that they saw my review of their app, and I was not a fan. I know a lot of people out there use it. I'm going to tell you, if you're using it, then I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong, but I'm going to tell you that you're most likely incorrect.
I've tried it a few times. Not a big fan.
Don't like the operation. I also don't like how it limits your filming unless you pay for the premium application. If you're going to release an application that has filming capabilities, right? Allow them to film for as long as they want, but limit the tools that they can use. Don't limit filming sessions. And that was one of my biggest gripes. And I'm going to tell you whether or not they want it in book 2. I'm probably going to put it in book 2. Okay. Because I feel like I feel like it needs to be told.
Definitely. So where do we get your book if we want a copy of it?
2 different ways. You can order it off Amazon. It's at Amazon.com. I've actually seen a few other bookstores when I Google the name of my book. There are a few bookstores that are carrying it. I'm not sure which. They're not bookstores that I've heard of. It's not like Barnes and Noble's famous, right?
Right. Give it time. You will be.
I hope so. But there are a few bookstores that do carry the book. But if you want a signed, personalized copy, you order that straight through me. You send me a message on Facebook, and I will get you my information as far as Venmo, Cash App. I don't do Zelle, but Venmo, Cash App, and even Apple Pay, I can do that. And I will personalize a copy for you, and I'll mail it out.
I'll be waiting for my copy. My birthday is August 13th, so right around the corner.
I actually meant to give you a copy of Broadhead, and I fucking forgot.
It's all right. Shit happens.
Dude, like, the after party on night 2, like, I got sidetracked, and I fucking forgot.
Yep. We had to let our hair down for a little while.
Dude, we did. Let me tell you.
It was a good time.
For those who did not make the Broadhead Beard Brawl, you missed out on an amazing event.
Yes, it was a
The
great event. No drama, none of
uh,
the static that you get from a lot of different paracons. Everyone just had a good time, and the kids were even there having a good time.
yes, and Bill, we respect you as well. I saw that comment.
Yeah,
I love Bill. Bill is one of my favorite people that I have ever met when
yeah.
it comes to anything paranormal. Like I know he's just a location owner, but most accommodating person in the world. I love Bill. He will always have my respect.
Yep. Bill and Ron, they're family to me. You
Awesome.
know,
Please tell Ron when he finishes to let you know what he thinks of it. Send me a message, and if you would, leave me a review on Amazon. Every review helps.
all right.
But yeah, the Beard Brawl was an epic event.
It
You
was.
had a mixture of the Renegade Beard Club and RBC Wisconsin, and the paranormal. And you wouldn't think that when you put those two aspects of those two groups together, they're going to mesh the way that they did.
Oh, it
But
was a beautiful, beautiful meshing of the two worlds.
it was
It was like
phenomenal.
it was made for. They were made for the paranormal. Paranormal was made for them. You know,
Yes.
they're all into what we do. They're having a good time. We had a good time doing what they do. I really hope this is the first annual and we do it again next year.
I hope we do it again next year. I hope they do. If they do, obviously, I hope to come back.
I will
So
be there. Guaranteed. If they do it again next year, sign me up as number one on the list. So I'll be there.
I had one complaint about the event. It was that they had a beer garden,
Yeah.
and I planted a beer can and no beer grew.
You know, it could be just because the ancestors on the property didn't want it growing there. Very well
But
could be.
I guess you really can't grow beer, right?
We'll find
But
a way.
but no, I loved everything about the way it was set up to how the event ran. It was very professional. Um, Everyone kind of came together, because we knew we had the investigation, and when it was breakdown time for to get everything ready, everyone came together. They worked as a team. Um, Dude, it was such an amazing event, and I feel bad for anyone that missed out on it because if you missed out on it, then you absolutely missed out on probably one of the best events of the year.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It really is one of the best events I've been to in a long time.
No,
Yeah.
it was like I said, well organized, well put together. There wasn't people stepping all over each other's toes. It was just people getting together, fellowshipping, enjoying each other's company.
Yeah,
We had a great fucking time.
definitely. I ended up making two new friends that are really amazing. Louis, I love him to death.
Oh, that's fucking
He's
amazing.
awesome. And
Or
then
not.
we had Tucker, who sat at my table for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and the in-depth conversation that we had, it was like connection. I know
Yeah,
I'll be friends with these guys for years to come.
yeah, and same here. And I met a lot of people that I've met in the past, and I also made a lot of new friends, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a funny story about the event, and Bill might laugh about this, as Bill knows. So Vince Killian was there, right? For the year, about 6 months to 8 months before the event. Apparently, Vince thought I was somebody else, and so he was talking mad shit about me and making basically not purposely, not maliciously, of course. So I want to throw that out there before anything gets misconstrued. It was
Yep.
not that manner, okay? But he thought I was somebody else, and there was a whole funny story to that. It was. He pulled me outside and personally apologized to me. Like that, you got to give the dude stand up credit, right? He pulled me outside and he shook my hand and he was like, "Dude, I'm just gonna straight be forward with you. I've been talking mad shit about you because I thought you were somebody else."
Yeah. I was there for that conversation. I was the fly in the wall in the lawn chair behind you guys.
Yes,
And
and
it took me everything not to start cracking up and rolling. with
No, I
that.
mean, full respect to Vince, for admitting, because he didn't
Yep.
have to. I didn't fucking know.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was an absolutely epic event, and I love the renovations that Bill has been doing in the building.
Yep. Speaking of Bill, he's got a question for you. He wants to know if you've been able to debunk his dowsing rods yet. And so before you answer that, let's talk to him a little bit about what Bill's talking about. Bill
Okay.
has a set of dowsing rods he holds in one hand. He'll put it out there, and then he'll tell the right rod or the left rod to do something. Point to someone, and the specific rod will move on its own. The one he tells, not both of them, not and it's able to do that. So now, I've never seen anyone else do this before. Have you been able to debunk that?
Not in the slightest, and it bothers the fuck out of me. So originally, when I was called in by Bill for the paranormal lockdown, his intention was to have me come in and debunk the activity in his building. So
Yep.
I also saw he mentioned or Broadhead Manor in general.
Yep.
For the record, I have not been able to debunk anything that I have experienced at Broadhead Manor, and that is a first for me. And I've been there twice for multiple freaking days now. This place astounds me. The fact of the matter is paranormal happens when it wants to. We all know this, right?
Yep. You can't force a ghost to do anything.
Exactly. So when I go in, I have a very low expectation. I don't expect things to happen. But when they do, obviously I set to work doing what I do. I'm looking at lighting from the outside. I'm looking at, are there power lines around, as far as if I'm using equipment that could set off the equipment. I'm looking for all these different aspects. I can tell you that I've been there twice now, a total of, if you total it up, 7 days over 2 trips. And I have not been able to personally debunk anything that I've experienced in that building. And also, Rez, I will tell you, and I believe I showed this to Bill, I'm not sure. There was a photo caught on the first night of the investigation that I cannot explain that was captured in the boiler room. So if you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
But no, as far as being able to debunk the building, so far I'm at a loss, and I don't like that because I feel like now more than I did before the first visit, then now I definitely have unfinished business. And as
Yes.
far as the rods go, I cannot explain to you. I wouldn't even begin to try to explain how in the fuck he does that. Because
The building will call you back if it likes you.
if you're holding them with 2 hands, could you possibly do a small sleight of hand to manipulate? Yes. But I can tell you that I intently was staring at Bill's hands the whole time. His hands never moved.
Nope.
And then he was like, oh, well, check this out. And then he put them into one hand. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, there's no fucking way this is going to happen.
Yep.
But lo and behold, it did. And like, if you're manipulating them physically with your hand, there is zero reason only one rod should move because they both should move.
Yep.
I do not understand how he does what he does. It is fucking fascinating.
It's his children there. It really is. The kids love Bill to death. They'll do anything for him. And they follow him around. And they like to interact and play with everyone there. Heck, I've watched them go, take them in one hand, put them out there and be like, point to the annoying one. And it points to the same person every time I've seen him do this. And I've seen him do it multiple times on multiple different trips. I have hundreds of hours in the building.
That is crazy. Well, let me tell you, Bill, next time I'm there, tell them to point to the annoying one, and I guarantee you they're going to point to me. And
Oh, no. There's a specific person that they consider the annoying one. Yes, they are learning new tricks all the time.
Yeah, but it's just fascinating to me, and I feel like it's something that I cannot explain, and I don't like not being able to explain things, but I am also a paranormal researcher. You know, I'm an investigator. I
Hmm.
will admit when I see something that I cannot tell you, hey, I know for a fact what's going on here. Because there's no facts I have on this. There's no logical reasoning if you're holding two rods in one hand why one would move and the other one wouldn't.
You can't.
And I thought
There's
somebody had a question.
Yeah, we do have a question, but to say, if you can't debunk it, it's the paranormal. Let's see. Let's see.
Absolutely.
Faraday bags for cell phones. Do you think use them? Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
fair.
you
Go ahead,
you
Rex.
need to have your phone either off, which most cases that's what I do. I just turn it straight off, or have it on airplane mode. And even then, you still run the risk of still contaminating. So the
Yes,
Faraday bags, I really would have no interest in using one. In the beginning, I used to leave my cell phone out in my truck. I'd go that far. But then again, I got a little bit smarter because what if you have an emergency or something happens? You still need that lifeline. But
yes,
yes, just airplane mode or shut them off altogether.
yes. Bill was. He was staring me down the entire time he was doing that. It's a fact.
Yep.
Um, do I agree with Faraday bags for cell phones? Here's the thing. I agree with Rez on they should just be shut off. Um, it's obviously you. Most people don't want to do that because they have an emergency, right? But if you set your phone in airplane mode and there's an emergency and someone tries to call you, you're still not going to get the call, right?
Correct.
So
Correct.
what's the difference between setting it in airplane mode and shutting it off, which is less likely if you shut it off to cause any kind of false anomalies through the equipment that we're using?
Yep.
And I am a firm believer in because I do first responding as far as at my job and stuff. So you should always have some line of communication.
Yep.
But setting your phone in airplane mode makes no difference unless you're using applications. Because if you're using applications, you have to have your phone turned on. So if you just set your phone in airplane mode and you're around some kind of equipment, it's still going to set that equipment off, whether or not you're in airplane mode, because you still have power going to the device.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a gray area there, and I feel like it's a preference. What I would do is if you're in a group setting, right? Ask everyone to put their phone in airplane mode if you decide to do so. But tell them if you have a cell phone on you, do not come within X amount of feet of this device.
Keep your distance.
Or if you decide to come near this device, take your phone off your person, hand it to someone you trust, or set it down on a spot where you know it's going to be at, and then go back and get it. So this way you're not giving false readings.
Yep. Definitely. Now, I know some teams they use walkie talkies when they split up in locations, and that too will set off our devices as soon
Oh,
as
that
you
was
tee them up. So,
absolutely, especially REM pods.
yep. So you got to watch for the fake hits, and just because you had a single hit, don't always take it as being evidence of something being there. Get it to interact with you some more,
Yes,
and to validate what you're getting. If it's going to do it once, chances are you'll get it to do it again.
right. But then you also have those situations where it's certain buildings that it's so saturated because people go in there and investigate all the time, right?
Yep.
Sure, the spirits in that location, they just get tired. They're like, I don't want to interact with this equipment. Um, I got asked this the same thing 30 times last week. Um, so I'm sure there's moments where the spirits in the building, they just get tired of interacting because they need that time to recharge.
Yep. So,
And go in with a different perspective, ask different questions. Don't go in and be like, "Hey, do you know you're dead?" I mean, that's a
chances are, they know this already.
yes, and
You know.
it's a weird question. And a lot of people like to do the two shaves and a haircut now.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but so many people do it that maybe the spirits get bored with it. Try a new technique.
Yep. Sometimes I like to go back to the old school techniques. As you've seen over the weekend, I use my pendulum a lot. You
Yes.
know, it's very easy for them to communicate. Doesn't take a lot of energy, and not everyone uses them anymore. So therefore,
No,
it's something different for them to work with.
I
Dowsing rods like Bill. That's another prime example.
I wish I really wish I had room in my suitcase to bring my pendulum stabilizer for you to test out.
Well, next time we get together, 'cause we know I'm going to be out at your end of the country in October, for Mass Paracon. We'll check it out because we're getting together, buddy, when I'm out there.
Yeah, I think you will enjoy it once you see how it's actually made. Um, it's actually made out of what was that wood? I'd have to ask my brother, but he made it specifically out of a wood that is known to have spiritual healing properties.
Okay.
And basically, you set it into the stand. You can still sit your finger on the crystal on the top, so you still have that physical human connection.
Yep.
But the device is sitting on a flat surface. So you are completely removing the ideomotor effect or hand shaking, any kind of micro movements.
Yep. There are some people I know that still use the old analog. Yep, right there.
I
Me,
actually,
I
actually
got
got
digital.
podcast.
Well, you cut out on me, buddy. What was that?
Oh, I said that actually got brought up the last podcast. That's why I had it sitting here. But I prefer a mixture of the old school and the new school. So what I would do is I would take this and set it up next to a digital recorder because a digital does not use magnetic tape like the tape recorder does. There's a good chance you might catch something different on different frequencies.
Yeah,
But that's one on one and nothing on the other at the same timestamp, then you can kind of question the credibility of said evidence. But if you capture both on one, then you know damn sure there was a very good chance that that was some form of contamination by someone speaking or someone doing shuffling their feet. But if you catch one on something on one and nothing on the other, then that's a question that is a legitimate. I need to look further into this. More experimentation needs to be done.
definitely. Now, let's see. Jenny asked, do you use a pendulum holder or with her hands? I personally use my hands. I keep my energy with it. I keep my hands as steady as possible. As you've seen me use them all weekend, I'm pretty solid on that. With being a tattoo artist by hobby, I gotta have steady hands. So
And I don't personally use pendulums at all. Um, for me, it's just like dowsing rods. I trust them, but I don't trust them if that makes sense. Um, and
it
anytime
depends on who uses them.
yes, and anytime I try to use dowsing rods, it does not matter what pair of dowsing rods I use. I will hold them and they swing back and smack me in the face.
I should have got mine out over the weekend because I hardly ever used mine. I should have had you try mine and see if they'd smack you or not. Just for shits and giggles.
Interesting. But
Yep.
yeah, no, I don't personally, I am not one for pendulum readings. That's Morgan. She would be the person that I would say, hey, use Bowie. That's her personal pendulum that she loves. Its name is Bowie.
Okay.
I cannot do it. I have very shaky hands. So that was the believe it or not, that was the whole reason I decided to make the pendulum stabilizer.
Yep.
I could attempt to use it because I know if I hold it, I'm not going to trust anything that comes through it because I have very shaky hands. And so I created this device to hold it steady for me. As long as I'm still making the connection with the crystal on top, I still have the personal connection. And that's the main thing.
Yep. So definitely. So what we've been talking a lot about broadhead and about pendulums and stuff like that. What is your personal favorite piece of equipment to use?
You know, I have two, one of which I have questions about, and that's why it's one of my favorites because I want to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love my motion sensor music box. I think it's a great piece of equipment, but I also have to question its credibility, and I think that's why I like it so much. But it makes me critically think. And
Yeah.
when a lot of people set up these devices, and we are in an abandoned building, okay? Unlike Broadhead, which has all of its windows intact, 90% of these buildings we go into do not.
Yep.
You don't know if there's a mouse running across the floor. You don't know if there's some kind of animal upstairs or whatever in the area of the device. And so, realistically, what you capture with the music box, you take it at face value. Um, my personal favorite piece of equipment is my old school. I bought the thing 19 years ago and it still works flawlessly till this day. My RCA voice recorder. I didn't have to go out and buy a freaking $400 voice recorder or $1,000 voice recorder for those. I'm not going to call them idiots, but idiots that go out and buy the DR60.
Yeah, I have no urge to get one of them, to be honest with you. I
They're crap.
have I have a cheap $30 Amazon recorder and I have my cell phones and
And it
I've
works,
caught all kinds of stuff on them.
and they work great. For those people who go out and spend like $1,200, $1,400 on a DR60 Panasonic, let me tell you something. There was a reason the recorder was only made for 1 year.
Yep.
It was only made for 1 year because the internal mechanisms within the device were actually showing up in the recordings that people were trying to make, which is inherently creating what we think are spirit voices. They're not spirit voices, they are voices that are coming through the mechanical mechanisms. They're formulating what sounds like words, but they're not words. They're crap. Stop buying them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just my opinion. That might be a hot take. Anyone out there who owns a DR60, you know what? Good for you. Um, but I can tell you that I've never heard a recording that came through a DR60 that was a crystal clear EVP, like I can capture through my RCA recorder that I bought almost 19 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I played you one of the ones off my phone that I caught. Didn't even realize my phone was still on.
And it was
You
clear.
know? Yeah. And that's just off of Samsung Plus. I think it was the S10 Plus I had at the time when I caught it. Just the little voice recording app that they have that standard on the phone.
Yeah, and I think so many people in the paranormal these days, they are so, I'm going to word it this way, enamored with the paranormal stuff that they see on television. They feel like in order for me to be a paranormal investigator, I need to own these equipments that have the blinky lights and they do all these things. You don't.
No.
Go into a location. Honestly, you don't even need to bring equipment. Just sit down, be yourself in a dark spot. Kind of get that resonance with the building. And
Yep.
once you have that resonance, you'll be able to recognize what's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen. And when you have that what's not supposed to happen, then you know that you need to go and investigate that a little bit further. You don't need all this fancy equipment. Like I've got probably in my closet, I don't know, $4,000 worth of equipment, maybe a little bit more. And I might use 20% of it.
Yeah.
Because over the years, I did the same thing that everyone else did. I saw what I saw on television and I bought it. And then I realized how it actually works. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's really not a piece of equipment that I need to utilize.
Yep.
So I just wasted, $150, $160 when you don't need much. If you want to start a paranormal investigation here, you want to go and investigate the paranormal, here's what you need: a notebook, pen, flashlight, cheap voice recorder, and a camera. That's
Yep.
it. I can tell you, you can go ahead and eliminate the camera and the voice recorder from that list. You don't have to pay for that because they're available on your phone. Um,
Yep.
it's people put too much thought into it. They want to be the next freaking Zach Bagans, or they want to be the next Nick Groff. And I respect Nick Groff. I do not
I
respect
like
Zach.
Nick. I don't like Zach. Sorry.
So me and you agree on that.
Yep.
But that's what they want to be. They want to be that next big paranormal thing. Well, guess what? You are swimming in a sea of oversaturated content with probably 30,000 people, if not more, investigating the paranormal, putting their energy into YouTube, TikTok, you name it. The chances of any one of us becoming a famous ghost hunter, as far as when it comes to that caliber, you're looking at like a 0.2% chance.
Yeah. I tell you guys right now, if you're doing this, become rich and famous,
You're in it
stop.
for the wrong reason.
You're wasting your time. It ain't gonna happen.
You're in it for the wrong reason.
Exactly. Me personally, I do it to leave something behind for future generations. For those that actually know my backstory, to know where I come from, to where I'm at now, and what I have to leave behind for future generations to come, that's why I do it. You know,
If
not to mention,
you
it's
want to
not.
hear that story, tune in tomorrow night on Paranormal Unveiled.
Yep. We'll talk more about that. Definitely.
Plug. Sorry, I
Yes.
had.
So before we go any further, we'll just say it. Guys, this is a 2-part episode. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night because whatever we don't finish up tonight,
We're
we're
hitting
going to
on
talk about
tomorrow.
tomorrow. See, tonight, Nate's in my hot seat. The
I
roles
am.
reversed tomorrow night.
It is, and I got some great questions lined up for you, so I hope you're ready, which I'm sure you are.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to kick back and chill, and you can fire away, and we'll see where it is.
You're doing the
See,
same thing I'm doing, man, because I know you're going to ask good questions. I know that it's going to be a fun show. But yeah, so
definitely.
I agree 100% though, man. The people who get into this thinking they're going to make that bank, like that's you're in it for the wrong reason. It's just like
Yeah.
those people, and I have encountered a few of these people over the last several years, where they get upset because they're paired with someone who may not be as well known as they are. And
Yeah.
you know what? If you're at a public event, the event coordinator pairs you up. That is what it is.
Yep.
When you get upset because you're paired with someone who may not be as well known as you are, and you don't think you can learn anything from that person, there's no longer a reason for you to be in the field
No.
because you can learn something from someone who has been doing the paranormal for a week. Maybe they have come up with an idea that you didn't think of. As soon
Yep.
as you get to that point where you're like, I know everything there is to know, then you know well enough how to show yourself to the door and retire.
Yep. Yeah. In life in general, the day you quit learning is the day they shove you in a box and put dirt over you. And that's reality.
Exactly. Because let me tell you, through doing these public events, I have learned so much from so many people. This weekend, Chris Dono, who is a member of the Bearded Brotherhood,
Mhm.
he was investigating with us, and he was asking some great questions. And it gave me a little bit of a different perspective as to far as how he was asking them. And I'm like, I never looked at it like that. But you adapt, you listen to questions, you learn. And
Yep.
I love his outlook. I love the way that he was asking questions. And it just when you stop learning, then you have no reason to be in the field because all you're doing is contaminating the field, thinking that you know more than everybody else.
Hmm. Yes. And that's where ego and arrogance gets involved. And I'm sorry, I got no
Oh,
room for egos.
there is
Yeah.
there is so much ego in this field. It's fucking ridiculous.
It is. You
And
know,
on Raven and Chris's show, I went off on a rant about the toxicity in the field because it is a very toxic field. Everyone wants to support themselves and nobody else instead
yep.
of letting go of whatever gripes you might hold against another person and coming together for the unified thought that if we could capture all of us as a unified field, something that is indisputable to science, then maybe,
Mhm.
just maybe, science would accept the paranormal investigative field as a accredited, legitimate form of science.
You know, well, look how the other fields, work together. Your cryptid researchers, they're kind of like a family. They bond together and work together. Your UFO and UAP people, they got their shit together. They work together and they
I
help each other out. Oh, lost you there for
sorry,
a second.
no, I wasn't trying to interrupt you. I saw Jenny's comment. I was telling her I agree with you.
Yep.
But no,
So
but yeah. So continue on the UFO and
yeah,
UAP.
they all work together as one and to progress their field. And you don't have that drama with the conventions as much as that we do with the paranormal. So if the paranormal came together, like you were saying, we could really advance this and really help future, the science of it,
Right.
because we don't know really much more now than we did when we started using equipment in this field. You
Correct.
know, me being a spiritualist, yeah, I know there's another side. I know there's spirits, and being a medium, I've experienced that. But can I prove that scientifically? No, I can't at this moment because there's not enough of us on that same page.
Right. And if we all got on that same page, then we would probably have enough evidence.
Yep.
Say, hey, here's what we're presenting. And when you hit that mound, these the legitimate quote unquote scientists that have doctorates that none of us do, because God forbid we're not smart enough for that,
All right.
they might actually start to take notice. And they did start to take notice in 1978. A lot of people don't realize that the University of Southern California actually offered a PhD in parapsychology for 6 years. And
Mm-hmm.
back in 1978. I actually have those college textbooks in my shelf, by the way. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where I think that was the closest the paranormal field has ever gotten to being an accredited, legitimate form of science. And I wish that we would all be able to just get along like the cryptid people. They all get
Mm-hmm.
along. The
Yeah.
UFO, as you said, they all get along. Um, the issue that I see in the paranormal, as far as when it comes to ghost hunting, is ego and the want to be better than the next person. There should be no, I'm better than this person, I'm better than that person. There should be an equal ground to where you're both contributing something different that should equalize out of importance.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, brother. You're preaching to the choir.
Well,
So
I know I'm preaching to the choir because I know you're thinking the same thing I do, but maybe some people out there listening don't see it that way.
yeah, and you know what? With us having our platforms, this is our opportunity to help people to change their minds, to inspire them. To maybe one day we might be looking back 20 years from now, and what we're doing here might be what starts the next evolution in our field.
You never know.
Yeah, we don't.
20
It's
years from now,
possible.
20 years from now, there could be a book written. It'd be like, well, I saw this specific podcast, and this is what changed my mind. And that person might have been the person that revolutionized paranormal into
Exactly.
non-mainstream juvenile dick measuring contest. That's basically what the fuck it is.
Thank
I am,
you.
I am not going to bullshit you. I've got no reason to. The paranormal field today is literally just a juvenile dick measuring contest. Oh, I'm more popular than you are. I have more followers than you do. I do this. I do that. Can I tell you something for anyone out there listening? No one gives a fuck.
Right. You might
We
have a million followers, but do you have a message with that? A
right,
legitimate message.
exactly. And that is my gripe. Is when it comes to paracons, these not every paracon. Let me rephrase this before I get blacklisted.
Right.
Not, but most paracons, they look at the famous people before they look at the lesser known people. Here's the thing: your lesser known people are the ones that are putting in the legitimate work. The famous
Yep.
people that pay thousands of dollars to get at your event are the ones who they've done this and they think they can't learn anymore. They're not bringing anything to offer other than speaking and fame and the name to your paracon. That's all they're doing. They're not
Yep.
bringing they're not bringing new ideas because they've been doing it for so long. They're stuck in their ways. And I love every single celebrity I've ever met. So I'm not talking shit about nobody. I want to put that out there clear because I love every single one of them. I
Yep.
think they're amazing. I think they all offer different aspects. But when it comes to furthering the field, you need to look at the people who are lesser known. Because
Yes.
once you start getting those people in there, then you're going to realize that you were looking at the paranormal in a completely different aspect, a completely different light. And that light's not known because no one gives them the chance to express what they know.
Yep. That's what I like about some of these paracons, they're changing from going with the celebrities as much, but giving more classes, letting others teach and lectures versus, hey, I'm a celebrity. This is the shows I've been on. This is my experiences. No, you're getting people in there, some of them in there now that are actually going, hey, this is what I've done. This is what I've learned. Try it out. Think outside
Right.
the box. And
Exactly.
that's how we're progressing. So my hat's off for the ones that want to change the status quo of our paracons.
Yeah, and you know what though? Realistically, I wish more of the lesser known teams would fight more to get into a paracon.
Yep.
Even if you're not a speaker, if you're going there just to vend, or even if you're just going to attend the event, wear your team shirts, spread the
Mhm.
awareness, because you could connect with somebody that could change your life and you don't even know it.
I've had that happen several times at these paracons. Almost every bigger paracon I've been to, I've met someone that has actually inspired me to look at another direction than what I was being looked at, or try something different. You know,
Yeah.
and that's great because if they can get me to think outside the box, they're getting other people to do it too. You know,
Exactly.
and that's the
And
reason why I love working with other people. You get to see
net,
them what they do, like you were saying with the investigation with Chris. That's a beautiful thing.
it is. And networking also is so important because you do have those paranormal teams out there that maybe have been doing it for 2 or 3 years, but they might have had 5 or 6 investigations because they're not very well known, right?
Yep.
Because nowadays with social media and fucking television shows, if someone has someone to come and investigate their house, they want the big names.
Right.
Well, here's what comes with the big names. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you: a lot of big convenience, a lot of cameras, and a lot of fucking money. So, if you could have a smaller team that knows what they're doing, come in and investigate without the hassle of the blocking off the road because of security, because you have big name celebrities there. The
Hmm.
money, well, I don't know about the money aspect because I can't tell you whether or not you're going to have to pay money for them being there. You might have to. I can't tell you because
I
I'm
don't know for sure, but I've heard about teams charging people to come out to do residentials. And
I
I
have
do
heard.
not agree with that one freaking bit.
I do not as well, and I can tell you why. Because I go to work every morning to do a job. I get paid to do my job. The
Yep.
paranormal is a hobby. I love doing the paranormal. I know it very well. But here's the thing. If I charge someone to go in and do an investigation and I capture no evidence, I officially feel like I failed at my job.
Yep.
Paranormal is not promised. So if someone is charging you to come in and do an investigation, there's a good chance, I'm not going to say it's a 100% plausibility, but I'm going to say there is a chance that whatever they bring you they're reaching at straws.
Yeah.
It's probably not what you think it's going to be. And I don't believe in charging for investigations. In my 20 years, 19 technically, 20 next month, I have never once charged for an investigation
Yep. And you
because
shouldn't.
I go in to help the family.
That's the key thing right there. You're there to help. When you call up your buddy and you need help moving something around the yard, it's, yeah, give me $20 and I'll be right over. No, your buddy gets there and helps you out. No
Exactly.
questions asked. And that's how I feel anytime I walk into someone's home and I help them. That
Yeah.
is, you're making that connection. Because chances are, if there's any more activity or anything else comes up, you're going to be their first call. And you're going to be following up with them to check and see how things are. So
Yes.
therefore, you're building that friendship. So why would you charge a friend?
Exactly.
You know?
And let me tell you guys, I have taken so many cases in the past, back when I lived in Alabama, right? That teams went in and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing and they made the situation worse.
Mm-hmm. I've
And
seen that.
then all you can try to do is damage control. You're trying to corral it back to where it's a manageable level, and then you can assess what you have to do. And what these people who are inexperienced doesn't realize is that that adds another like 2 or 3 months to the investigative process to help this family.
It does. You know, it's basically going, they swat the hornet's nest and then they run before they get stung. So
Yes,
meanwhile, the family's getting stung the whole time.
yes, and I've encountered that so many times, and my heart breaks for the family. But we're coming in basically as spiritual cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
We were the secondary when, in all actuality, I'm not faulting the family for this, but had they done their research, that we would have been the first, and this
Exactly.
would have never happened.
Totally agree there. Well, we're coming up to the hour here. This is flowing by. I ask everyone the same question, similar to what you asked, but not the same.
I don't answer any questions.
Oh, you're going to. Anywhere in the world. Opportunity, money's not a problem. Access is not a problem. Where would you investigate?
Left Castle,
Okay.
zero
Why?
zero. Why? Because I love the legends, I love the lore, and I would personally love to hear a banshee scream. Which I know that a banshee scream is an omen of death, so if you hear it, you're supposed to die. But you know what? I would die a happy man.
I look at it like this. I wasn't supposed to see the light of day. I've walked away from so many wrecks. I've had surgeries where I've bled out. I stopped breathing every night. I just had a heart attack. What the hell is a banshee scream going to do to me? Just saying.
Fair. But yeah, Left Castle, that would be my spot. I love the history, I love the lore, and plus, I would just love to go to an abandoned castle. I think the location is beautiful. I think it's amazing. The history is awesome.
Yes, castles are beautiful. They have plenty of history. I'd love to do a castle. You know.
Same.
So, shameless plug time, my friend. Anyone wants to get a hold of you, anything you got going on, spit it out.
I'm anti-social, so don't contact me. That's the way. No. So you guys can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Paranormal Nate. You can find me on TikTok at Static Voices. You can find me on YouTube at static_voices, and that's where you can watch my paranormal investigation and my application tests. Um, you want to find me on Facebook? I'm at Nathaniel Elwell. Same thing on Instagram, Nathaniel Elwell. Um, yeah. What the hell was that? You
Noise in
didn't
the
hear it?
back there. If you're hearing like a humming almost, that was probably my son in the other room.
Okay. Okay. No, that's exactly what I heard. It's like, what the?
Yep.
But yeah.
I have a very sensitive mic, so it will pick up if they're in there making any
That's
noise.
right. But yeah, that's where you can find me. If you want to order my book, it's available on Amazon.com, or you can contact me personally on Facebook, and I will send you an autographed copy. If you want a bag of my coffee, Shadows of the Lock, it's a mocha Java cinnamon. It's delicious. I love this blend. You can get it at gruesomebrew.com.
You know, I didn't think about. Did you bring any of that to Broadhead with you?
The
I
only bag
forgot you had coffee.
no, the only bag I brought was this one because I have to make another one.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, with the coffee, I don't get a portion of the online sales. Only thing that I make is when I buy it in person. And it's like $165 for an order of 12 bags.
Okay.
So it's a very small batch, and I feel bad because technically, when I sell this coffee, I lose money. Um, I'm not going to sell my coffee for $25 a bag. I don't expect anyone to pay fucking $25 a bag for a bag of coffee.
Right.
So I typically lose money on the coffee. So I've not. You can get it cheaper at Gruesome Brew.
You know, you should talk to us. I've noticed that some of these Paracons, they got them coffee people that set up shop. You should talk to them when you're there to buy a couple of your bags and sell it. Therefore, you can make your money, and they're going to triple their money on each bag by selling it by the cup.
Well, I'm not sure if I can do that considering the fact this is an official collaboration with an actual coffee maker.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to look into the logistics of that to ensure that I can even do that.
But hey, it's an idea. Think outside the box.
It's definitely something I could think about because, I mean, I love that coffee. I feel like it's amazing. And I don't drink flavored coffee. I would drink that any day of the week.
Okay. Well, when I come out east, I'm gonna have to get a bag from you. So hopefully you'll re-up by then, and
I'm
I'll
hoping.
test it out. I'm allowed 1 cup a day now because of the heart, which I like a good strong cup of coffee.
Well, this is a dark roast,
Perfect.
so it is strong. And the mocha, you get a really decent hit of the mocha
Mm-hmm.
and a very small whisper of cinnamon.
Nice.
It's very well blended. They sent me 5 different samples to try, and I straight told them, I don't like this one. This is why I don't like this one. This is why. Yeah, this is the blend. So I love coffee. I'm a coffee connoisseur, and
Yep.
it just worked.
Yep. Definitely. So, last minutes. Any events or anything you're scheduled for this year?
Uh,
This year?
I really should fucking start writing this shit down. Um, I know, I know that August 1st I will be at the New Hampshire Spirit Speakers Expo here in Nashua, New Hampshire. Um,
Nice.
September 12th I will be at an event that I cannot yet release in New York. Um,
Okay.
I would love to be able to release it, but I've not been given the okay to do so. Um, I'm relatively sure, but I cannot say for sure that I will be down in Salem for the Salem Paracon this year. I've not gotten confirmation for that yet, but I normally don't until about a few months from now. So, as far as events go, the next few months are going to be a little bit chill, which I need because after Broadhead, I need that.
Yeah, you need to kick back, relax a little bit, take some family time. You know, so I
Exactly.
get it. So, all right, brother. Well, guys, I think we're gonna pause this conversation here. Again, tomorrow night, come on over at Nathaniel's show here. You'll find me on there. We're gonna pick this up for part 2.
Just
And
wait, come back because
yep,
I got some amazing questions. I'm about to grill the out of this mother.
bring it, baby. Bring it.
It's gonna be a well done steak by the time I'm done.
Hey, ain't the first time. Make sure you pack a lunch.
Yeah, but no one really likes an over well done steak. So you know what?
Nah,
Let's
I prefer mine bloody rare.
go with a good medium well. We can deal with that.
That's still overcooked for me, but still.
You're one of those like,
I like mine mooing on the plate.
oh no, no, Rez, it's not healthy for you, brother.
That's fine. It tastes great that way. So, last thing I'm going to say is, guys, don't dream your life away. Get out there and live your dreams today. And with that, good night.